Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and welcome to another episode of Newsround for Anfield Index. It is Monday, the 19th of May. And in simple terms, ladies and gents, for everything Liverpool related, it is all going off, isn't it? There is 1,000,001 things going on right now for the Premier League champions on and off the field, it seems. So we'll get into it as we always do. And I'm your normal host, Dave Davis, coming to you from overcast slightly, but still warm Edinburgh. So fingers crossed it gets a little bit warmer like it was at the weekend. And wherever you are in the world, I hope it is glorious at the same time as well. But we start every news round by asking, how are we? As we start the week, we set up for Monday with the week ahead. And I bet it's excited. Well, it should be excited, people. Obviously, personal lives, everything aside. But from a Liverpool perspective, there's loads going on, isn't there? Mainly off the pitch, which is what we're going to talk about. But this is the week. Remember that. This is the week when Jurgen Klopp will be back at Anfield. This is the week when the Premier League season comes to an end. This is the week when Virgil van Dijk lifts that trophy high above his head. This is the week when we party and we have a parade. So it should just be good vibes, as they say, across the board. That's what it should feel like. And as much as I'm talking about things on the field, I could be wrong, but it's not really where the focus is for a lot of people right now. And I understand that because Arne Slot's been speaking. There's a lot happening transfer-wise. So let's get into it. So the second part of the embargo was released last night, wasn't it? The first part on Friday, nothing on Saturday, but then the second part of Arne Slot's embargo last night. And few things to call out that, as a few of the patch journalists wrote, like you can see on the screen, very big suggestions, and maybe big's the right word, that Liverpool will be aggressive in the market as they look to build a squad capable of competing in 4 competitions. Now, that's a little bit of paraphrasing. That's important to say, but let's have a look at what Arne Slot said as a quote. He said, and I like this, I think we can find 1 or 2 extra weapons that this team doesn't have. That is what we are trying to achieve. That will only make us stronger. That is what we need because we saw City spend 200 million in the transfer window. All of them will. It's a little bit exciting, those comments, isn't it? And we've had a lot of talk this summer already, and we're not even into the summer. The window hasn't officially opened, has it? But around, you know how it works, war chest, net spend, all the phrases that will be buzzing around this summer. But it's the fact that Arne Slot has said that. It's the fact that he's referenced that City spend £200 million and all of them will, indicating we know which other clubs will do it at the same time as well. It has a feel, doesn't it, ladies and gents, of almost, I don't know, if you can't beat them, join them. Arne Slot indicating, as the patch journos and others have briefed us numerous times, that there is expectation Liverpool will have, quote unquote, a big summer. And we don't need to get into net spend because that's not what we're about on this show for News Round. But big moves are coming, ladies and gents. Possibly, potentially, maybe. But there's a few to talk about very shortly. So maybe it will be. You can only work on what Arne Slot tells us there. We've got to go on that basis. He did also mention on in the embargo section, so shout out to Lewis Steele in comments about time wasting in the Premier League. And sometimes you just love an Arne Slot embargo comment. He said, I don't wake up during the night, but if I did, it might be like, shit, there's no answer to be found in that type of play, i.e. time wasting. Every time we drop points, that happened. Ruben Diaz said something about it too, which is not always the best moment to say it after dropping points. But for me, he was right. Maybe I'm wrong. something tells me with everything else going on and off the field, this comment will be bypassed. But at some moment in the near future, or in the maybe next season, actually, let's be honest, time racing will come back on the agenda. But that was what Arne Slot said about this one. Because it's Monday, it's also important to say, ladies and gents, happy Frimpong Monday. That is the expectation, isn't it? That Jeremie Frimpong will complete his move to Liverpool. So we'll all be waiting on the announcement. And you know the media team is going to have that clip or try and reenact or some element of that clip where he greeted Gravenberg in the Dutch camp. You know exactly what I mean, because we've done it before with Thiago, Jota. They always come up with some belting stuff, and shout out to Steve Halliwell and all the media team that way. So on the screen, welcome if you're on YouTube. If you can't see it, it says there, Jeremie Frimpong underwent his medical today as Liverpool look to seal $30 million deal. That was a tweet from Paul Joyce last night at just before 6:30. So suggestions that he's done his medical, he's done part 1, part 2 and all this. The only thing that actually somebody, let's just say involved in the medical side with Liverpool messaged me to say last night is, it is important to clarify, the medical team don't pass or fail a medical. What they do is undertake a medical, then provide that information to the relevant staff at Liverpool. But it isn't a case of pass or fail, as the medical professional involved with it said to stress. It is not a driving test, but we'll see. We're all expecting that Frimpong announcement at some point today. So it is right to be excited and wait. That one is 99% done. And now we're kind of waiting for a bit more excitement on the rest of the week, because Florian Wirtz is one that, as we got last week, Liverpool are trying for, but it's up to Wirtz to make the call. And there's various articles, expectation that Florian Wirtz will make the call at some point this coming week. As it says there, little extract from KIRKEZ. He's not made a decision on the club which he wants to join yet, but Bayern are not in as clear a pole position as recent reports suggested. One of the two English clubs, us or City, is said to be in a very good position, as high hopes of winning the race. You kind of feel we'll get info on this one big time, won't you, in terms of a yay or a nay? It's quite simply, for the any way you chop it up, between us, City and Bayern. And various patch journos have been keen to emphasise that Bayern are the favourites for Florian Wirtz. But Liverpool have made their pitch. They are right in the running, which is exciting, isn't it, ladies and gents, that we've got a shot. This is an elite attacker, and Liverpool are trying to get elite attackers. And it's quite clear, I shouldn't even call them elite attackers. Should I say one or two weapons now, as Arne Slot calls it? But can they? It's a big ask. The biggest fish are the toughest to land as ever, aren't they? So we'll have to see what develops. And there's various things. We had Uli Hoeneß talking on it. Maybe Bayern are going to blow it. City wages and all. In simple terms, we're just going to have to wait to see what develops this week. But the price is clear, 150 million euros. I don't think there's any doubt that money is there. And if they can get it done, Liverpool will get it done. And we're starting to dream a little bit. As Ash says there, just imagine that. Frimpong, Kerkez and Wirtz before June would be amazing work. It'd be incredible work, wouldn't it? And it would also mean that Michael Edwards would need to activate beast mode and get into sales, wouldn't he, straight away at the same time? But it's exciting, isn't it, ladies and gents? When I say exciting, the chances of getting Wirtz are limited, I would say, so we can't get too excited. But we are trying, which is exciting, for one or two weapons, as Arne Slot calls it. The other thing to mention is Milos Kerkez. Now, he's been flirting a little bit with things all this summer, hasn't he? That when Fabrizio Romano tweeted about the Jeremie Frimpong and the medical. He's liked that tweet, and he's liked a number of other Liverpool-based tweets, hasn't he, this summer, or whoever's running Milos Kerkez's official account has. So that's been a bit of a tease, let's call it that, recently. And then, as it came out this morning, Fabrizio Romano, others tweeting, Liverpool have approached Bournemouth for Milos Kerkez and talks are progressing. Personal terms are nearly finalised. Kerkez is eager to join the Reds. Of course he is. Why wouldn't he be? It's now about negotiating this transfer. So we're just waiting to see, obviously, what develops. The big thing being that Bournemouth aren't in the European hunt anymore, are they? So that works completely in our favour in that regard. Excitement galore. Now, for anyone that's not seen it, as I said, Romano and others have tweeted, Nicolo Sciarria actually put it out late last night, didn't he? Or actually, sorry, first thing this morning, even. I'm losing track of my days here, about that Liverpool been speaking to his agent in the last few days. And Kerkez wants it. We want it. It's all about the price. And the price is important to mention, people, because I do think this will be a part of it. 45 million for a fullback is not cheap for one single second. And Florian Plettenberg's tweeted this morning, and obviously I'm just putting up the sources. You can make your own judgments as to what you think about them. That if a deal for Kerkez doesn't go through, Joel Hatto, the 19-year-old Ajax defender, is another name on Liverpool's list, who many believe would be decidedly cheaper than Milos Kerkez. But it is quite clear that Milos Kerkez is Liverpool's first choice left-back target. It's now all about, can Richard Hughes agree a deal with his former employees, Bournemouth? And I mean, Kerkez is an interesting player. Rapid, as we know. There's a lot of things to like in terms of his strengths. When you look at his FB ref profile, he's a carrier, isn't he? In the 85th percentile, just shy of 3 a game for progressive carries. Roadrunner, as they call them in analyst terms. Strong as well, it's important to say. This has got better. His two biggest strengths that have really come to the fore in the second half of the season. Interceptions in the 82nd percentile and assists for fullbacks in the 74th percentile. So there's some real strengths there, it's important to say. And when you overlay him with Andy Robertson on FB Ref, who the odds are right now, nothing's guaranteed, but he will be competing with Andy Robbo for, or it looks like, doesn't it, the left back spot at Anfield next season. A long way to go. Nothing guaranteed at this stage, but it is exciting all the same. It's also important to mention that a couple of things with it likely, I'm not saying anything's confirmed, but likely being that it's going to be Kerkez and Frimpong as it stands as the two fullbacks coming in. Now, me and Bart's, we did transfer market metrics, and we had a special on these two specifically this week, Frimpong and Kerkez coming in. And we mentioned it on transfer market metrics, so mention it again about what analyst information that we've got around why are these two being targeted? Why do these two seem to be the favourites? Where, understandably, a lot of points that maybe defensive element and going, hold on, are we not going to defend at all? But what did the analysts tell us? They said that naturally the two obvious things, these two are rapid, aren't they? They are absolute road runners. They go up and down all day, and they are rapid, Kerkez and Frimpong. So pace goes into the team straight away. That's important to say. Now, someone misquoted me on this, and it honestly got on my nerves a little bit because people need to listen to what's said. What I said about Kerkez and Frimpong from the analyst is they get the ball into the box a lot. And quite a few people say, well, we don't cross it. We've not got Peter Crouch in there. And that's not what I said at all. If you look at Frimpong specifically, he ranks first in sprints for the Bundesliga before the weekend games. And third for crosses in open play. Now, a cross doesn't have to be that ball up to a Peter Crouch at the back post. It's getting the ball in the box. That's what's crucial. And when you look at Kerkez as well, he ranks third for crosses in the penalty area in the Premier League this season. Please listen, a cross doesn't mean we're just whipping it to an Andy Carroll or Peter Crouch. It's about the fact these two players get the ball into the box. That is absolutely crucial. People talk about Liverpool and Moneyball, don't they? And as the analyst said to us, people misconstrue that as well. Remember there's that line that Brad Pitt has in the movie where he says he gets on base. Do I care if it's a run or a walk? Kerkez and Frimpong get the ball into the box. We don't need a Peter Crouch to whack it in. They get the ball into the box, which is where we do damage. And the other key thing that the analysts mentioned around these two is they will help us significantly because all of a sudden, and I understand this, I had these reservations. I still got them a little bit. Defensive worries because these two are bombing on. Who's defending? Like, are we going to break Ibu or whoever it is at the back? But as the analyst said, the one thing that both these fullbacks have is they will help us kill the transitions, the counter-attacks against us because of where their strengths are in pressing and pace. So that's a big factor in for Liverpool. That is a big factor. Why? And we don't know 100% yet. We'll have to see what develops. But it does really seem that Liverpool are looking to bring in Milos Kerkez and Jeremie Frimpong as fullback options for this season. Christ, we wanted a bit more pace in the team. Maybe we didn't predict this, but both of these would give it us no two ways at all. So we are waiting, aren't we, people, to see what happens with these two. Will anything develop this week? And we'll have to see, yeah. As we said, Florian Wirtz, Milos Kerkez, expecting Frimpong to be confirmed. It is an exciting time to be a Red. Everything off the field seems to be buzzing around. And, oh yeah, there's just a small matter of a game in the Premier League tonight. And we shouldn't be blasé about this at all. How beautiful does that table still look? I mean, we talked about they get 90 plus, what the targets would be, etc. They haven't cared less, really, these boys. You've seen all the videos in Dubai. You've seen all the photos, all the partying. They've been enjoying themselves. So when Liverpool step out at the Amex tonight at 8 o'clock, I have absolutely no idea whatsoever what these boys are going to serve up. Not a clue. Brighton at the same time are right in mid-table. They can't qualify for anything. It's maybe their last home game. I wouldn't genuinely predict with confidence much in this game, but I'm going to a little bit. I think it'll be Alisson in net. I think it'll be his strongest, or what he sees as his strongest, i.e. Van Dijk, Konate, Robbo, and Connor Bradley. And I'm not saying this lightly. This is just an opinion on this. I do hope a certain player doesn't travel, actually. I do hope, just my opinion, everyone's entitled to them, that he doesn't. Because everything at the moment is positive, isn't it? Off the field, what we're seeing, the fact that we're getting ready for the parade, the title. There's just a positive buzz around everything. So I'm being honest, I just hope a certain player maybe doesn't travel because then it just takes the heat away from everything completely. I think, again, with little confidence, Max, Szoboszlai and Gravenberch in midfield. And then up top, I do think it will be what he currently sees as his strongest. Mo on the right, Cody Gakpo on the left, Luis Diaz in the middle. But again, nothing would surprise you. Would it really? We're just going to have to see what develops. And even as I look at it tonight, I don't know if I'll put any solid prediction. It literally wouldn't surprise me if we got hammered. It literally wouldn't surprise me if we scored a few. It doesn't really matter, does it? Liverpool are champions. And this week, people, how exciting this week is going to be. Have you plotted your parade route? Have you plotted where you'll be on Sunday? Have you plotted where you'll be on Monday for this victory parade route? Queen's Drive, I'm hearing a few, seems to be popular. You're going to go right for the city centre and party time? Completely up to you. But all I'm going to do for this one is finish on this. I ain't here to talk about, and I know people have got their opinions and they're entitled to them, booing and negatives and all that thing. I'm buzzing for this week because this week, again, as I said at the start, Virgil van Dijk's going to lift that Premier League. This week on Sunday, we're going to party like never before. I'm at the ground for this. Got a ticket. I just cannot wait. And this week as well, we're expecting even further developments off the field. The Reds are moving rapidly. As Arne Slot is saying, he's looking to find 1 or 2 extra weapons. And let's just hope that very quickly they could be in his arsenal as next season preparation starts straight away, doesn't it? What a time to be a Red, people. Should just be positive vibes all round. It's Monday. The sun is starting to come out. Genuinely, I hope you enjoy your week, whatever it may bring. But on Monday, the 19th of May, that was another news round